Hey, what's happening out there, YouTube family? This is Robert L. Jones Jr. Coming at you again for some more Tribal Judah poetry. All right. Hoping that you're liking what you're hearing so far from the previous videos. All right. Coming at you with from heart and soul. All right. So here we go. The first poem of the evening is entitled "The Consciously Righteous Conversion of Fallen Manhood." With those opulently aroused eye sockets and an openly exploratory soultopia of massively liberating thought and conviction, this show enough verily be the majestically solid and stone exemplary rendition of an affluently superbad and purely righteous conception of some happily pragmatic insight and apperception, whereby transcendentally yielded brainwork gets spiritually plugged like a smartly modernistic device of ever technological extravagance into the abundantly omnipotent outlet of an immortally brilliant and undyingly solarizing consciousness. And them enduringly illimitable impulses of eternally cranial speed and lasting perpetuity would favorably get into their dynamically slick and copacetic custom and tradition of wealthily uploading those highly splendiferous and sweetly extemporaneous alms and offerings of royally optimistic programs and those mindfully quickening applications of proudly galvanizing hope and ultra encouraging safety and security, and the one and only self-expressive cognizance of some divinely vigorous and infinitely sufficient godliness be upon that mightily jubilant occurrence of blessedly asserting and confirming an empathetically crystalline and knowledgeably transparent perspective about my uniquely human-centric dichotomy of deathless ghost and briskly animated anatomy, being worthily counted like a gainfully unmerited grace receiver into this greatly welcoming code and identity of richly coexisting inside of the boldly revealing and confidently showy significance of some of that funky glory inhabiting elegance of augustly chicadelic valuation and stone classy excellence, which with the humbly enforcing core and nature of a sincerely meek and low-key disposition, would I thereby be keenly perusing into the grandly antiquated caliber of an anciently Hebraic seer from the cleanly aged period and testament, and with that fantastically paramount and masterful coolness of suddenly being a modernistic replica of Prophet Elias, I would show enough be monumentally mantling out my tenaciously strengthened backbone and shouldering dexterity with that exceedingly beaming sunburst of tremendously hot and luminous virtue galore, as if it surely were the colossally kaleidoscopic ensemble piece of a courageously multicolored scarf or tallit, with a daringly prismatic arrangement of panoramically schizophrenic tassels and fringes, with vividly healing stripes and thrice folded contortions of wildly decorative embroidery and fashion-forwarding wonderment extreme, and with some of those ever cleverly kosher exertions and radically effusive expressions of a destiny predicating prophecy foretold, would this amazingly blazing and blatantly engaged a creator of thrivingly experiencing happiness and joy be so outstandingly spontaneous and so speedily charismatic, like the surprisingly swift and unstoppable jettison of some incredibly rapid comet light in the heavens. And I can truly catch that wistfully voluminous wind of some mediocrity defying celerity, and hastily generate my very own specially hair-footed motors of quick and flashy velocity towards that delightfully revealing path and ordination of an originally unfabled and undeniably authentic destination, where in eminently epochal orientation and perfectly successive progression, I be so heavily preoccupied with the incredibly mammoth course and advancements prolifically metamorphosing self into the grandly advantageous exposés and exhibitions of ever powerfully becoming those befittingly actualizing still shots and selfies of a positively transforming lifestyle of patiently evolving adulthood, thusly grooving and transmogrifying so dramatically well and good throughout my profusely episodic phrases and transitions, of stormily testing and trying challenges and the character exercising importunities of strikingly maturing rootedness and impeccability. And as this livably hip and together specimen of life actualizing demeanor and conformation, be perpetually changing and variegating along this cipher cleansing aqueduct of continuously purifying rebirth and regeneration, it definitely be at that highly capitalizing point of rightly functioning assurance, where I have done officially gotten that there righteously revitalizing right and privilege in obsessively abiding and coinciding with the fanatically up and radiant inclination of momentously taking on to my festively airborne capabilities that tremendously zealous and aesthetically exalted ability of awesomely hovering like a magically galactic mothership over all of them tragically crass and show enough pitiful conjectures and assumptions of utter failure, surmise, and damnableness and condemnation, where spitefully dirtied and disdainfully gritty opponents of mobility, loathing, enmity would be ubiquitously amiss and surely iniquitous, since the past tense, with their readily stained and overwhelmingly witless business of violently casting a nastily jagged pile of sinfully judgmental stones, and those wrathfully delusional rocks of wickedly mistaken surmises and prejudiced theories, and a guiltlessly clean and street-free glass house of properly constructed and stridently upright shining luminescence, but with that intensely abounding quintessence of some purely extraordinary strength and determination, with the beamingly metallic organism of a radiantly illuminating UFO, be astronomically within the absolutely fathomless digs of outer planetary exquisiteness, and eons atop of eons of endlessly extended light years, will be where my gravity overriding spacecraft be expeditiously doing this celestially interstellar thing, phenomenally soaring and ascending beyond all of them awfully earthbound and hellishly grounded persecutions of wordily abhorrent criticisms and those viper-biting cataclysms of stereotypographical missives and racially broiling euphemisms, which sorely simple-minded jive spouters and hatefully indoctrinated junk spitters be shown love wasting their pseudo-precious time and energy in goofily envisioning that crazily imaginative believing that I would fatally crash down into a violently explosive fireball of faithfully destructive self-doubt and wreckful negativity. And with some of that positively up and flying mirth and revelment within the aerially enrapturing excellence of my universally magnificent residence, I shall steadfastly owe it to the pridefully sparkling longevity of my victoriously overflowing legacy in effectually living out the purposefully enriched decades to come as a full-blown man with his ideally maximal brawn and stamina in being and doing both anything and everything that the almighty God has divinely predestined for him to be within this 3D indigenous worldscape called reality. The second poem of the evening is entitled Neo-Gestapo Wranglers Revisited. Illimitable scores of strictly innocent soul brothers and spotless African princes extraordinaire be ever violently massacred down like stone endangered game and thoroughly hunted raven by the madly merciless artillery and that lifetime exterminating weaponry of some wickedly executing devil work and hellishly low down diablerie, that stealthily be so lethally camouflaged with the shoulder of perjury in disguise and subtly obscure masking of supposedly noble and honorably wholesome law enforcement, with their notoriously libeling directives and them obscenely fictitious claims about them being in that pseudo-benevolent jive of genuinely serving and protecting a greatly collective stratum of humanly formulated minorities and us sun-centric God emulators of Afro-everlasting toughness and ghetto-fabbing constancy indeed. But they ain't be no righteously representing saviors of the people. Neither are they that correctly exacting impersonation of some gallantly heroic Messiah types with a pristinely gracious attitude of peaceably compassionate concern or spontaneously abounding care and empathy. But these intensely corrupt and absolutely deadly mercenaries of villainously annihilating mayhem and savagery done definitely got that consciously hostile and angrily infirm mentality that is so fanatically filled to the cognitive brim with a massively marauding rotation of some furiously celebrating thoughts of constant gun-toting threats and those firearm-brandishing rants and tantrums of stone homicidal debauchery that be rapaciously zooming and mindfully zipping back and forth and all around like crazily thrumming inner mysticisms of wrathfully obsessive meditation throughout the vilely labyrinthine corridors and straight up iniquitous transits of wildly treacherous brains and young blood slaughtering temperaments that are so amorally sickened like cancerous tissue with a psycho-diabolical affliction of some show-enough racially seasoned and disease and ignorance that ultimately be so gruesomely manifested through the insatiably plotting schemes and hollow point penetrating collusions of urban apocalyptical pain and destruction, and a fiendishly zealous retinue of totally crooked constables and those sinfully flat-footed assassins to be would be deviously strolling and patrolling like a gang-banging clan of OG imitating defiance and intimidation across them funky hood city jumping avenues and chocolate villa exquisite townships of swag and citizenship with their voraciously animalistic agendas of fatally vandalizing Mama Alkebulan's many living temples and her vitally dynamic houses of viable soulfulness, with the devastatingly eradicating and brutally premeditated derangement of stone criminality and frightfully narcissistic ambushments that be predatorily scattered abroad as randomly shot projectiles of black community wasting demise and oblivion, that be murderously picking off our lovingly cherished kinfolk and achingly departed brethren, as if they all are unknowingly doomed ducks atop of mightily troubled up waters, or a vulnerable pride of deeply jeopardized lions caught unaware between that gravely scoping POV of a demonized sniper's hair-triggering exploits of heavily slaying ruin and genocide, and multitudinous tallies of indigo melancholic homecomings and mournfully overwhelming funeral scenes be sorrowfully testifying like a weeping prophet unto that bitterly stinging reality that there is that banefully catastrophic and heinously routine monotony of exceedingly thuggish officers and them spitefully regulating desperados put into evilly hell-bent and torridly noxious practice their psychotically terrorizing plans and ever-killing actions, in disdainfully making our round-the-way comrades and Bluesville habitating dogs and lokes into a malignly expired and mortally diseasing clique of eminently targeted scapegoats and disastrously mangled victims that be dirt napping and terminated statistics to that stone precarious and incredibly menacing function of show nothing stain and stone lunatic-y policing, as it be strategically shooting down a seemingly dispensable lot of potential kings and self-expressive innovators of royalistic radicalness with their Gestapo-heated instruments of mafioso blasting machinery, of manically maniacal mortification, and like the rapidly malleating clockwork of an alarmingly vexing TikToks Would a viciously foul assemblage of filthily offensive pigs in fuzzy blue be sadistically rolling and coasting slowly like 6'4" Impala riding charioteers within the one-time accustomed anathema of a black and white monstrosity on wheels? And with hatefully neutralizing vigilance, do those military and lynch mobs be diligently searching like doggedly possessed jackals and wily coyotes for unsuspecting prey that be shown enough helplessly left out in the completely unprotected situation of being without any truly safeguarding benefit of a self-defending gat or some cipher-preserving ammunition for that freely providential intention of successfully conserving his rightfully living and existing condition of actively growing and developing sustenance. And the moronically twisted and severely morbid macabre of block popping nutcases don't be having no guilt stained or shamefully haunted pause or apprehension in simply whipping out their county issue bullet peelers of cold-hearted steel and be wildly scattering their ferociously rugged slugs of calamitous fire and flesh-snuffing abolition and a socially clean and unsullied public of thriving and striving cats and old age aspiring youngsters who once ago were just trying to richly experience their potently conceivable phases and ages of strongly fertile life and brightly evolving mortality. But now they have been so terribly bumped off and so shockingly cut short from the beautifully prospering dream of some of our motherland blessed sons and vibrantly promising glory bearers, wealthily realizing any of that pleasantly showy hope and possibility of a living out this here steadily progressing and ever continuing plane of consciously expanding growth and advancement, with no unreasonable complexities of anxiously chiding fear, nor dreadfully hounding bouts of fiercely agitating panic and timorousness. But it somehow seems as though that could never be for either me or thee most definitely. And this is solely due to that nationally syndicated and globally cartelling swill pen of knavishly reprobate swine and nastily repulsive beast in pork skin, who'd be foolishly going through their venally debased and agonistically procedural abomination of making us agonizingly suffer and bleed profusely through that great tribulation of a black brother liquidating Armageddon by hideously sacrificing up an appallingly innumerable inventory of basically blameless and purely faultless embodiments of mankind to the satanically parlous and sanguinely serpentine deity of 187. Thank you so much for listening to these pieces. I hope you like what you heard. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Also, please donate to our channel, Tribal Judah Poetry. We definitely appreciate your donations. Thank you so much. And just please continue to donate. And I'll come back at you with some more Tribal Judah Poetry. In the meantime, I bid you shalom.